On today's video, I want to talk about a topic that I feel is quite important. You've probably seen other videos on YouTube and have read articles on the topic. It's become far more relevant in this day and age, and that topic is how to spot narcissists. I'd like to approach it from a little bit of a different angle though, that you may have not seen. That's at least my hope. So from a personal standpoint, for many years now, for 15 years, I've been going to conventions, fan conventions. So I want to explore the concept of spotting narcissists at conventions and also in hobby groups that you may be a part of or may have been a part of at one point or another. I think this is a fairly new approach that hasn't really been explored enough or talked about quite enough on the internet, in articles and in videos and what have you. So I'd like to share and give you some insight on how to identify narcissists with a better sense of conviction and confidence in these type of situations, because chances are you probably didn't think about or consider finding narcissists, or you probably didn't consider or think about identifying narcissists in these type of situations in a group that you're in or a convention that you're attending with your friends. So I think this is a really critical topic to talk about. So yeah, I'll try to split it in two categories. Let's start with groups, like a hobby group that you're in or once a part of. This could be a writer's group that you're a part of or were a part of. It could be a dance group, an art group. I know there are a lot of artist groups out there. A meetup group, like meetup.com. That's also become far more popular and relevant, especially in younger generations. And I'd say middle-aged generations too for meetup.com. But whatever the case, let's take a look at finding little clues on being able to discern who might be a narcissist or who might possess some narcissistic traits in a group that you're a part of. So while you're in a group, the group is probably something that's very personal to your interests. So it holds a special value to you. So whether it be a writer's group, a dance group, or what have you, you're probably not thinking that much about, well, who in this group might be someone I want to be weary of? Who in this group I might want to be on the lookout for to have my guard up? You're probably not thinking about those kind of things because you're in the group, you're just excited to be in the group, and you're looking to get something out of the group, something personal for yourself. So it's probably the last thing on your mind to be cautious of a fellow peer, a fellow member in that group, because they are possessing characteristics that should be sounding a lot of alarms. So let's get into that. I'm hoping that by sharing my personal experience having run a group myself, that it could provide some valuable insight to you on what to look out for. So a key trait in most narcissists that I've come to learn is that they have this desperate need for control. So what does that exactly mean? Well, what I mean by that is narcissists, when they're in a group, whether it's your group or not, usually they're going to be very unhappy with how the group is run. And it might not be so apparent from it right at the get-go. Usually narcissists don't present themselves as someone to watch out for in the beginning. Usually they're going to present themselves like they're a very good guy, or in the case of a girl, a very nice girl. A lot of them, they're very charming, they're very charismatic. They have really adept social skills. So this is very unfortunate. This is scary. This is something I really feel that a lot of people have been tricked by and duped quite easily. So it might be more common to notice this type of individual like in the workplace or maybe at a nightclub. It might be at least a little bit easier to identify individuals like this in those type of environments. So like a workplace or a nightclub or even a party. But I have found it to be not so noticeable in a group, particularly a group that is trying to achieve something, or at a convention. And in the case of a group, the things that you want to look out for is in terms of them wanting this need for control is they're going to try to convince you and everyone else in the group that the leadership of the group is flawed. It's heavily flawed. And they're going to do their best to try to convince you that the direction of the group and the guidelines and everything else should be run in a totally different way. And it's going to be strictly by their point of view and nothing else. They're not going to be open to any different kind of input as to how the group should be run. So it'll be strictly from their point of view. And if and when, and it will happen, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Anyone who has the slightest disagreement or different point of view from them, the narcissist or person with narcissistic traits is going to gaslight them. So if you don't know what gaslighting is, I'm sure it's a term you've heard by now, but if you're not familiar with that term, it pretty much means they're going to shame and blame and call out you or that person who is having that differing point of view because they are not perfectly aligned with their point of view. They're not perfectly aligned with their mode of thinking. So this should be a huge red flag. Now, you might have thought earlier on that, well, you might be thinking that, well, isn't it typical that some people are going to be disagreeing with how some things are run in a group? And you know what? That's fair. That's completely fair. Everyone is going to have some, difference of opinion, and that's totally fine. That's normal. However, with the narcissists, they're going to take it to a whole nother level, which you're not even going to notice. That's the sad part. It's going to happen right under your nose, and unless you're already very astute to this type of thing, chances are you're not going to notice it, at least not so immediately. So in the group situation, it will start with them little by little, or even just in a big dramatic way. All of a sudden, they're going to lash out in this huge disagreement with how the leadership or administration of the group is run. And this goes along with their need for control. And some tactics that they used in order to achieve this, or at least try to achieve it, is something called enlistment. So what that is, it's a tactic for recruiting people over to their side. And usually they're very crafty about this. They will position themselves in a very sympathetic and innocent light, and they will come up with a very convincing and compelling argument or story to win you over. It's going to be very convincing. It's going to sound very sympathetic, and chances are you're going to fall for it. I'm sorry to say, but you're going to fall for it because it will make themselves look like they are the victim and that you should go along with their cause. So they'll win your sympathy. That's enlistment. It's basically recruiting people onto their side for their cause. Now, if they suck at it, that's another thing. They might try to enlist people, but they might not be all that good at it. So they're on the flip side, they might not be so good at it. That should still be a red flag to you, whether they're adept at it or whether they're not adept at it. It should make no difference to you. That same red flag, that same alarm should go up. So don't let your guard down. And again, gaslighting, that's a critical point. They will gaslight others that go against their personal beliefs and views. Or love bombing, that's another term. If I didn't mention already, if you don't know what love bombing is, that is basically the act of smothering you and complimenting you to high heaven. So that's another way they will try to get you onto their side as part of their enlistment is love bombing. It's basically just smothering you. So let me just demonstrate for you a quick example in a group. The narcissist or person with narcissistic traits will usually start with calling out someone, one of your fellow members in the group, for something totally non-existent event or an event that's been blown out of proportion, to try to get others to believe that the narcissist is the reasonable one and that member or even the leader is totally in the wrong. They're totally unreasonable, and only the narcissist's views and approach is the only correct one, and that's it. It goes along with a huge sense of superiority. So usually it will start off with something like this, and it could be gradual, or it could be sudden, dramatic, swift way. But the scary part is that the narcissist, originally, they have presented themselves as a very nice and mellow individual. They would be the last person that you would consider to be a narcissist, or they'll be incredibly charming and charismatic. So those are the type of traits that you should be on the lookout, especially from the beginning. Usually it's not until later on that their dark side, so to speak, suddenly comes out. So they're very tactic, and they're very chameleon-like in this kind of way. And it will catch you by surprise. There's no way around it. There is no outcome where they won't elicit an emotional reaction from you, because they will. So that's another thing to look out for. So that's generally speaking, that's a general example for what to look out for a narcissist in a group. Is there a huge need for control, and they will be either incredibly mellow and nice, or they'll be incredibly charismatic and nice. And they'll be the last person that you'll possibly consider to be a narcissist. Gaslighting, love bombing, and even sometimes a need for attention. So the need for attention, something I hadn't talked about yet. This can happen more commonly in conventions than what you might consider. So how does this happen? Well, the narcissist will create that need for attention by creating a made-up dramatic scenario revolving around them. And it goes along with them needing to recruit people over to their side and win their sympathy. So usually they'll come up with some problem or some sort of dramatic event that is a puff of air. It's not a real problem. It's just, to them it's a problem. To them, they've convinced themselves it's a problem. But in reality, it's not a real problem. It's not your problem. It's nothing for you to worry about. But they'll come up with a compelling enough case, or they will come across sympathetic enough that they'll make you feel like you should be concerned about this. You should be just as concerned about this thing as they are. So usually this problem or dramatic situation, it will involve shaming and blaming at least one person or a small group of individuals. You know, they're bad for whatever reason. They're bad for X reason because of Y. And that's usually how it goes. So that is just need for attention. So just know that. Now for the girl narcissist. So like the guy narcissist, the girl narcissist, she'll approach opposite sex for her. In her case, it'll be younger men. So younger guys, usually. Sometimes even older men. It just depends on how crafty and skillful and confident she is. So a lot of times, unfortunately, these young women, they tend to be cosplayers. Not necessarily all of them, but a lot of them. But the key factor here is that they are the female cosplayers that you should be on the lookout for. So they will be the ones that will target usually younger men, and they'll lure them asking for favors, and they will give false hope to that younger guy that they are going to return that favor with either a date or some other sexual favor. They will never deliver on their promise, you know, the date or even that favor that they're hoping for. They will not deliver. They will string you along or string that guy along for all they're worth, and keep them in the mindset that they still have a chance. So they will string them along and continue to give them false hope that they still have a chance, when in reality they have no chance at all. So that's some key differences between the guy narcissist at a convention and the girl narcissist. But they have one common theme. The common theme is they just need these favors just so they can get some resources out of people. It's just the guys and the girls, they just tend to do it in different ways. So guys, as I said, I've been going to conventions and these kind of things for a long time now. I've met a lot of different people over the years, cosplayers, photographers, panelists. I've met some good people. I've met some strange people, and you know, and I've come across these narcissist types. It's something we should be more thoughtful about, and just not, you know, just don't be so darn ignorant, for lack of a better way of putting it. Yeah, so keep your guard up and be more mindful and watch out for these types of people. And let's talk about it. Let's talk about it more. Let's go on now to my second category, how to identify narcissists at conventions. So there's a chance that if you're watching this video, you may have gone to some conventions. These could be comic conventions, these could be anime conventions. Generally speaking, these are fan conventions. So chances are it's probably the last thing, probably the very last thing on your mind, that you're going to a convention, and you should be more mindful of spotting someone that you shouldn't trust, spotting a potential narcissist. The reason for this, I think, is because when you're going to the convention and you're seeing your friends or you're going to make new friends, you're already going in a very excited state of mind. So that creates a euphoria. That creates kind of an aura of euphoria on you. And with these extreme moods of excitement and euphoria, your brain is going to be firing dopamine like there's no tomorrow. Dopamine, in case you're not completely sure what that is, dopamine, that's the chemical in our brains that go off when you're in a very good mood, when you're very happy, very excited. So you're already going, you're going to the event already probably in a very excited and happy state of mind. So in that way, you're gonna be hugely disadvantaged when it comes to the narcissist or even the sociopath, and they're going to be massively advantaged towards you. So what are some things to look out for in that kind of situation? Well, one thing to look out for is in that situation, normally the narcissist is going to want to dry you of your resources. And usually this will be through asking you for money. Could also be like spotting them in a line to get to a special panel or some exclusive panel, or even getting a special pass to go to one of these conventions. So it starts with favors. It just starts with what seems like really casual and innocent favors. Hey, I don't have enough money for lunch. Do you think you could spot me? Oh, okay, all right, yeah, $10, yeah, whatever, sure. I really want to get this actor's autograph, but I don't have enough money. Can you lend me $25? I'll pay you back. You're like, oh, please, man. I really want to see this actor and get his or her autograph. Please, you're the only one that can help me. Okay. Here, hey man, I don't have enough gas to get myself home. I need gas money. You could give me like $30. Okay, all right. I feel bad you can't get home. All right. Hey man, looks like I'm running short on my hotel room. Like I don't have enough money, it turns out, to pay for my share of the hotel room. I thought I did, but turns out I don't. If you could give me $50, I'd really appreciate it. Please help me out. You see where I'm going? Folks, I can't stress this enough. This is something we need to be mindful of. You might have been mindful of this kind of situation already, and you might be very careful about it already. In that case, kudos to you. However, I'm not seeing it talked about enough. I'm not seeing discourse on this kind of occurrence, these type of incidents. I'm not seeing enough discourse about it quite enough. Why are we not talking about this more? So that's a very, I think that's a very common key example to look out for. Another thing that you could look out for is the narcissist also would want to approach the opposite sex and use them for their resources. And they'll do it in very charismatic and flirtatious ways. So in the case of a guy, they'll approach a younger woman, or women, might not just be one. They'll approach younger women in flirtatious ways, asking for favors. And again, the game is to use them up for their resources. That's their end game. You might be thinking from a distance, you might be just kind of thinking that they're just a big player. And yeah, that's part of it. They are a player, but it's so much more what you're seeing on the surface. Chances are it's more than just that. They need something. They need that person's money. They need that person's something, whatever it is. They need that person. They need to recruit that person over to their side. Goes back to enlistment. They need that person as an ally. They need that person to turn them against you. Yeah, turn them against you. They need to turn that person to become their best friend and brainwash them. Yeah, this is the kind of things that I've noticed. Now, again, on the reverse, they might not be so good at it. They might not be that good at it, and people are seeing through it. And I've seen that too, which is good. So if they're not good at it, if they don't have charming, adept social skills, and you've been able to ascertain for yourself that that person is just a phony, and you've been able to discern that person from everyone else, then hats off to you. That's good. But again, we're not talking about it. We're only talking about it in very closed spaces, in a private chat, in a private group. Something is said in a private group, in a private thread, and then it just ends, it dies. Why isn't it being explored more? Why aren't people sharing their personal experiences a little bit more. They're not voicing their experiences more. And you could do it in a blog, in a podcast, in a video, something. The point is, we're not exploring this topic out in the open enough. We're just not. And so in that regard, we are also guilty. We're guilty because we are allowing these incidents and these people to continue. So this cycle, it will continue. It will happen again. It will happen again and again and again because we're allowing it. In that way, we have some fault to share in that regard. Guys, I've been going to conventions. I've been in different groups for a long time now. I've been going to conventions for basically 15 years now. And I don't go like the way I used to. I don't go as often as I used to. I go now more to record and to just hang out with friends, meet a voice actor I want to meet. And I've seen some form of progress with, there's a thing that I noticed called cosplay is not consent. And that's a good step forward. I'm not saying it's not. That's a good step forward, but it's not enough. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not enough. There are, maybe to your surprise, there are other type of heinous acts that are happening behind the scenes, behind the curtain, that you're not privy to. It's not just towards cosplayers, Like, wake up, people. It's time to wake up. It's not just about harassment or shaming or these incidents revolving cosplayers. And it is a part of it. I'm not saying it's not. It is a big part of it. But again, there's more. There's a lot more. You guys are not seeing it, or you're not talking about it enough. This has been a heavier topic, I can't deny. I just felt it was important to get some of these thoughts out, and I'm hoping to find hopefully some other people that have been thinking and noticing these type of things, some like-minded people, start to increase the discussion more, because it's just not enough. I hate to say it, it's not enough, and that needs to change. If you like this video, please give it a like, and consider subscribing and passing it on to your friends, family, and all that. I'll see y'all even next time.